Hey Float Magic fans, Shani coming to you today from my chill space. We're going to breach into the topic of gatherings. For those of you who've been to the center in the last month or so, you've seen our new services that we've added, but we're also in the process of adding a Zen garden outside. We're so excited for that space, because it really is going to be the center, the nucleus for a lot of our gatherings that we hope to do. So for today, I just kind of wanted to go through why gatherings are important, how to utilize our space for gatherings, talk about how some people have already used our space for gatherings and what they've kind of got out of that. So when it comes to gathering people together, I always enjoy the gatherings where there's a lot of intention and thought as to what that end result of that gathering needs to be. A lot of us gather just to be around people. We want to feel that energy from one another, but there are purposeful gatherings. Maybe there's a wedding that we're celebrating and we want to do a bridal shower or some type of a ceremony for the bride and groom, pre-wedding, where the family and intimate members of their bridal party are involved. Or maybe it's a group setting where we're trying to get business professionals. Maybe it's your coworkers that you're trying to get more cohesive with, or maybe it's clientele that you're wanting to provide an experience where it can put you guys on a more intimate level of communication. And that's truly why our space can be super valuable. So talking a little bit about what has happened in our space, we've actually had bachelor parties. Yes, men. I was thrilled that they wanted to come in. They wanted to float, use our sauna, spent time in our chill space here to just celebrate that upcoming union that their friend was getting ready to make. We've had, of course, bridal showers in here. We utilized our classroom, which is now a salt cave, and so that's what our Zen garden is going to be for. We're hoping to make it year-round use, and so we're excited to add those features into there. So we still get that component of a gathering space, but it'll just be outside in our garden. We've had, and that gathering was super special. We actually had a drum ceremony for the bride and groom, and all of the members of the party blessed them and celebrated them in that ceremony. So it was really beautiful to be a part of, and they had food and drink and things that you can bring into our space. And then we've had individuals that have come in for, we had an organization that used it with the leaders of their organization, a charitable organization. They wanted to come in and just celebrate the success of their recent event. And so they came and they unwound with the use of floating and massage chairs, and they had some Reiki sessions. We had a meditation session that we started with. It was really just a completely different way to approach gathering people together. Our hope with our Zen garden is that one day corporations and businesses will truly utilize that space and provide that for their employees. There's a lot of team building that's important. Culture is a big thing now. We all understand now that we've gone through the pandemic and people have different priorities about the jobs they keep. And so building that culture within your work development is now a priority. And how do you do that? How do you take a group of people that are used to working in a very professional manner, break down walls, and put them in a space where they have to be a little bit more vulnerable? Well, I think my space is the perfect place for that. And why is because you are putting intention and mindful practices into place. So it might be our space that you sit and do a meditative session, but there's going to be skills that we're teaching and skills that we're sharing that you can take back into your environments, in your workplace, and continue to do those practices. Also doing things that are completely new, right? There's a lot of neural pathways that get formed when you're doing new things. It can be as simple as driving down a new street every day, or it can be as intense as trying a new service like flotation therapy or the salt cave, or the plunge, if you really want to push that extreme new experience envelope. But those types of new experiences bind people together. They really bond people in a way that because they shared that new experience together. And so teams and corporations can take advantage of that while they're in our space. We have a lot of wedding fairs that are coming up. We've got ones that are happening in the weekends of November. We've got some that are coming up in January. I mean, wedding season is on its trajectory. And so this is a really ideal space to treat your wedding party. I'm going to be giving a talk here soon about mindful gatherings and how to utilize those. So when a bride is planning a wedding, it's a little stressful. There's a lot of pieces, and sometimes that stress can take over the joy of the whole experience. And let's not do that anymore. Let's just truly bring that joy back into the presence of what this momentous occasion is. There's details of weddings that have to be done, but in the grand scheme of things, those details don't matter. What really is happening is we're gathering a family with another family. We're joining these units of cohabitating and working and process and generations of traditions. We're blending those together, and that's the beautiful part of what America is all this blending and what the human experience is bringing these lives together that you then orbit around one another. And so if we take the opportunity to really have the intention of celebrating that, and we back up a little bit from the dealings of the wedding day, the day itself, and we take the prep work into what that day is bringing, take the opportunity to come spend some time with your bridal party, or come spend some time with your future in-laws. Maybe it's the mother-in-law that you just want to treat to an experience where you two can really have some time to get to know one another. There's no better place to do that than in our sauna or our salt cave, or even in the massage chairs. You have this opportunity to just sit in there and relax, and ideas and thoughts and questions come to the forefront because you're in such a relaxed, quiet atmosphere. Or maybe it's the bridal party. Maybe you have a bridal party of friends that you've gathered throughout your life, and they don't even have a chance to get to know one another before the party. Why not create that space so that on the day of your wedding, they can be celebrating you collectively? They can bring these experiences. You can have a space where you're talking about them. They can get to know one another. They can truly grow to understand all the beautiful ways that they've impacted this bride's life together collectively. And by bringing that together before the wedding, you get to, for lack of a better word, exploit that at the wedding, right? You get to share in that beautiful occasion of who this human is that is moving into the next chapter of her life. What about post-wedding? This is also a great place to gather after a big event, after a family reunion, after some event that brings people together, and you're like, okay, we had this big momentous event, and here we still are all together. Consider spending some time here at Float Magic, because you just get to extend those really great feelings, and again create this opportunity for going through a new experience together. So those are in some small ways in the wedding gathering front that we hope to bring people together. I know I talked about corporate gatherings. I also want to talk about community gatherings. Here at Float Magic, we're very community minded. We love the Magic Valley. There's a very specific reason that we're located downtown Twin Falls, is because that's where I wanted to be. It was super important for me to be in this location. And we're kind of on the outskirts of downtown when we started, and not so much now. Now downtown is building up around us. We just had the lofts go in across the street. There's going to be more of those going into play. We're going to have some livability downtown. Super exciting to see all this progress come to our little rural area of the Magic Valley. But what that means for local businesses is the opportunity to serve more people, which is something we couldn't be more excited about here at Float Magic. So what we want to do is also gather that community together in opportunities of events. The Zen Garden, we're hoping to have a lot of art installations and shows through First Friday events and just through events through the summer. We're a big part of Art and Soul. Super grateful for the way this community has always championed that event. It's a fun event. It's an exciting event. It kind of pulls us out of the springtime, the cool weather, into more of a warmer atmosphere. We've had some wonderful parties already in our pre-done Zen Garden, and they've been a blast. We've had, add music, add drink, add food. It's going to be fun. I cannot wait until this space is completely done, where we have the aesthetic and the actual rake Zen Garden that our community can come and be a part of during that time. So we are really looking forward to providing space to house those community gatherings and have more opportunities for sound baths and meditation sessions, and really get some wellness weeks in the work. I know we've worked with other individuals, Amy Toft, and people in the wellness community, yoga instructors, to kind of pull that community into place here in downtown. And that kind of leads us into something that we've considered, that I've considered from day one. Might feel really far out there for a wellness center, but truly our center can be a fabulous venue. Once our Zen Garden is done and you have that beautiful gathering space, we can house probably easily 100 people outside. We can easily put 100 people through our services in a 4-hour time block. I know that might seem hard to imagine, but we can put people in the sauna spaces, in the Zen Garden, in the salt cave, and in the massage chairs, in a meditation class. So we really have the ability to service a lot of people in that window of time. And so to reserve this whole space as a venue, how unique would that be? And how many applications can there be for what we can do? Truly, the sky's the limit. I don't limit myself on anything. And so I love it when people come to me with ideas that are outside of the box thinking, and outside of, well, what if we do this with this space? So really looking forward to that aspect of just providing a unique way to gather people here in Twin Falls. We're such an expansive community. We're growing so fast. We're getting such a great variety of people coming in. I don't want to put boundaries on anything that we're able to do with our space, because it can be such a wonderful healing event that takes place here with all the intention that we've put into it and with all the effort. We've had talks of planting parties outside. I know Jennifer Moss and I have had lots of conversations about planting around full moons and doing different types of garden, or planting succulents. So I have great connections with local restaurants in town, a lot of the downtown restaurants. We've got contacts across town, the Yellow Brick and Four Roots with the juice and healthy aspects, even True Fuel. Like we have a lot of wonderful community partners that we can pull into this space. Stonehouse has done several of our open house events with wonderful charcuterie boards and presentations. And so we really value relationships here at Float Magic. And so we've taken a lot of effort to create those with local businesses. So when you come to us to do an event or a gathering, we have great resources to pull from so that you are getting the full spectrum of what the Magic Valley has to offer and what Twin Falls has to offer. So the easiest way to book or look into doing an event here or utilizing our space, you can always call and talk with myself or Kayla, our manager. And it's probably a wise idea to put it out in the calendar a month or two during our busy season, which is now through about March. Might need to go 2 to 3 months out because it's really hard to find those times where we don't already have appointments booked. But once the weather starts warming up and people start going outside more, we do have a little bit more availability in our space. And that's when the Zen Garden is really going to be such a benefit to utilize. It's just going to be such a great environment to take advantage of. So to book those out, you would just call. We'd go through the process. We kind of do an intake where we understand what you're celebrating, how you'd like to celebrate it, what your intentions are. If it's a corporate event, we're trying to do team building. We have resources in that regard. If you have resources, you can bring those in, and we kind of set up that process so we know what the timeline is going to be. And then we talk about price from there. We kind of take into consideration what services are going to be rendered, what services what the time of day, like evening and weekends, are a lot more popular for us. So doing it in the daytime is probably going to be a little easier window, but we're totally open to doing evenings and weekends as well. We know then that's when most people are able to gather. So yeah, and we also have some resident artists in our wellness facilitator roles of our employees. And so art is kind of a big focus for us here. And one thing we tried to roll out that we're excited to do again once the Zen Garden opens up is what's called artist blocks. Flotation therapy and our other therapies can be really beneficial in helping artists and creatives remove those blocks so that they get when they're in this creative process. Creating takes a lot of energy. Even creating a business taxes and energy a lot, or running a business. So this can be applied in so many of the creative opportunity realms. But what we really want to implement is pulling artists together where they come take some time to do our services, and then they go out in the Zen Garden and they get to create. And that will be such a beneficial process when you get in the practice of it. So if you have, maybe it's a creative team in your corporate events that maybe you need to come up with a new marketing campaign or some creative content to push out a new product or whatever it might be, consider using our space for those great opportunities as well. Anyway, but going through that process of truly understanding what your intention is in using our space so that we can then facilitate a wonderful experience for everybody that you're bringing into that space. And you can always call us on our phone line, 208-933-2620. You can come visit us at our space downtown Twin Falls. It's 152 2nd Avenue South. You can find us a block south of City Hall or the new lofts that have just been built. We're just right behind them, right across the street from 2nd South. Another wonderful several vendors to choose from over there that can facilitate, and we've used them often for our events as well. And so anyway, we just are excited to invite you into thinking of a new and more mindful way to gather here at Float Magic. And just remember, it's perfectly okay to stay salty even when you're getting together with other people. So thanks for tuning in.